Now do the creep. Do the creep. Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike.
I'm Jay.
And this is another episode of Horror Profiles, where we pick people that we like in horror movies and we go really deep. Real deep.
Deep down inside your gullet.
Like if you remember the therapist from Stir of Echoes right before he passes out. Well, actually, I think he died. Where he's like, deeper and deeper. Oh, deeper and deeper.
Let's preface this. We're talking about the creeper from Jeepers Creepers, not Jarrett from Subway. So, the creeper, a fucking nasty-ass, fish-faced, gross man thing that stalks young people and wants to eat their parts.
And smell their laundry.
It always reminds me of that dude from Bloodsport. It's like, you will come upstairs with me for an interview. It's like hell I will. It's like, you want to say no? It's like, no, Hasid as an asshole. It's like, what did you call me? He always reminds me of that one guy from the bar. Like, he gets off on the fact that, like, they're scared of him and he wants to smell you and get parts from you and he wants to have a moment with you, a private one-on-one to get what he wants.
It must be hard to be a woman these days.
I know it.
So the creeper, we were introduced to him in Jeepers Creepers in 2001, but he'd been around for over 2,000 years before that. 2,000 years.
I wonder if he saw the Great Wall.
You only went out with him for 2 weeks.
Jesus.
But he's 6'1", 200 plus pounds. He's an ancient demon monster. I think
go into boxing.
That's the best way to explain him. Maybe he could take Mayweather. He hunts for 23 days every 23rd spring. He seeks human organs and body parts to eat and then uses them to replace his own. He likes to pump fear out of his victims by toying with them first, using their fear to decide which body parts he wants to feed from. So basically, he's Jay at the bar on Friday night.
Every fucking night. Not just Friday night. It's weird with him. He's got a cool backstory, and I did like the fact that they kept him vague. I mean, there is a slight backstory to him, but he's still vague as far as what his overall intentions are, motivations, as far as where he's from, what he's all about, his origin story. And it's weird as far as, like, are you gonna, like, you got Michael Myers, you got Jason, you got Chucky, you got Pinhead. He almost slides in to the echelon of those greatness.
Oh, those damn enchiladas.
Almost. But then he realizes that his fantasy football team just sucks and he can't make that goal.
I'd be totally down for it. If I wish that one day that they would just take him away from Victor Salva and give the property to someone else and let them do what they could with it, because I think he could be like the upper enchilada. I mean, he's already almost there, dude. He's a great character, but here he varies slightly in the way he looks from film to film. Here's him in Jeepers Creepers 1 right here.
Yeah, this is pre going out.
Yeah,
I am so determined to get laid tonight.
Stop. Have you had too much to drink? I don't know how to put it. He doesn't look faker, but he looks like he's got more prosthetics on a little bit in the first film. They show him a lot less in the first film than they do in the other ones. Here's another shot of him from the first film. The first time you get to see him, which through the first half of the movie, he's cloaked.
Okay, so he looks like Gary Busey right here.
Yeah, after a long night of drinking. And then Jeepers Creepers 2, he gets nasty. Real nasty.
This is not happening.
At the first part of the movie, he's covered up with like this bandana thing, like this black mask or whatever. But as they show him as he goes further, they show him full-bodied and slimy as fuck. Yeah. Here he is real close to this guy, but like, did you forget your Winterfresh?
He's like, I got Banaka.
Asshole.
It's always been interesting to me the fact that he does change over time, which is actually, it goes back to his who he is as far as a character. Because by ingesting the body parts of new victims, he does change, I think, overall his appearance.
He actually, like, it's weird because his presence is, like, he looks like a humanoid for the most part. Except for, obviously...
he's ever going to pass that fucker off.
No, obviously with the scaly skin and stuff like that, but he has a lot of human characteristics. The teeth, the eye, Kit Kats.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
He has a lot of the characteristics of a human being, like the eyes, the teeth, the body shape, and stuff like that. But he does have these wings that he wears under his trench coat. The first time they're revealed, it's like, holy shit, that motherfucker has wings.
Well, the only thing that I could say that he could get away with as far as just walking into a convenience store to buy anything would be maybe the Kevin Smith's Clerks with Dante, because Dante doesn't even care. He'd walk in and he'd be like, Chuli's gum? And just hand him a pack of smokes without even looking at him. But he does walk upright. He kind of looks like a man. He wears a trench coat. It's almost like he's mimicking a form of a man. on purpose. And that's probably again a predatory tactic to get close to his victim.
He's a perfect embodiment of you are what you eat, because on his backside with the wings, it's almost like he looks like all the non-human characteristics to him are almost on his backside. Like he's got that hood that pops out to scare his victims, and then when he hibernates, the hood encloses over top of his face while he's hibernating. Here's a close-up look of his face in Jeepers Creepers 2.
Oh, son of a bitch! I shit my pants.
Jesus.
And isn't those the eyes that he has? Isn't that from Justin Long? From the first movie?
Yeah, that's what he wanted from the first movie, was his eyes more than anything else.
Jeepers Creepers, where'd you get them peepers?
Where'd you get them eyes?
You all were crying in the dark. It's like, shut up, lady, you don't know shit. I don't like tarot cards.
Here's a shot of him on top of the school bus from Jeepers Creepers 2.
This is what anybody looks like on their way to work in New York. Shit.
In Jeepers Creepers 3, however, I meant to put this in there, actually.
Did you ever get confused by the license plate? It says being you, but I always thought it said beating you.
Well, that's what he thought at first. He was like, beating you? But then it's like, be eating you, which is funny as fuck.
Is that what be eating
It's
you?
one of those weird things that added to like the fun of the movie. This movie had Office Space type flair to it. It really did. It had some fun shit. Which, when the movie came out in theaters, it received a D cinema score from audiences. Like, that just goes to show you that some movies stand the test of time in a weird way. Like, the first one. The crazy thing about this movie is when it first starts, it seems so scary. Like when you don't know and he's very mysterious, he seems scary. But then when he comes out and he's licking people's faces and he's ripping out people's tongues and shit, I think people got mad because they thought they were in for like a super serious scary movie that was actually going to frighten them. And then it got kind of like, not jokey, but it got kind of fun and wild and monster movie, and it upset people.
Well, I don't mind the fact that that they went that route. I mean, honestly, with the first Jeepers Creepers, and we mentioned Michael Myers and Jason and things like that. Jason's kind of a mindless killer too. Everybody knows what they're in for when they go to a Friday the 13th movie. In some way, I wish they made movies like this still, where people just have the balls to go out and make a fucking monster movie without worrying about anything. Oh, well, people aren't going to like it because it's going to be too straightforward. Sometimes you need straightforward. Just tell me you want to have sex and I'll go away.
The most I think he changed was from Jeepers Creepers 2 to Jeepers Creepers 3. Yeah. That hot piece of shit. But the one good thing about Jeepers Creepers 3 was how badass the Creeper was. He was great in this movie. Even though they upped his talents a lot, maybe too much, the look of him was dope. Like, he was a lot more crisp.
Why is he wearing a red shirt, though? Like, did he just get done farming? And I want to know, like, all these different tools and weapons, he does have quite an arsenal that he can pick from. And being around for 2,000 years... That. People, okay, fine.
That's fine. Later.
Fine.
Don't blow your load, Michel.
I've already done.
And my fitness conciliere, Michel.
Shit, Michel.
So that's his appearance from film to film. You go on to what abilities he actually has throughout the movies. Now, again, when you get to the third movie, he has a lot of abilities that you didn't know he had previously, which is kind of fun. And in other ways, they almost do a little bit too much, especially with the Jeepers Creepers truck. But we'll get to that. But his abilities, he's got superhuman strength, because you see him flipping over cars. He rips open an entire bus.
That doesn't mean anything. If you have a good balanced meal in the morning, you can do that.
He's got a superhuman smell. Yeah. He possesses a third nostril on the bridge of his nose, which allows him to smell specific organs of his victims, and it looks like a vagina on his face. Mm-hmm. But it opens up, and he puts it up against a car door window at one point, and it's just nasty. He's got regeneration in a strange way, because he can get hurt. You can hurt. He's got more.
His head fell off. Yeah, he was pretty old, and then it fucking comes up like a turtle. You're like, shit.
He can handle more than the average person. Like, he can take harpoon shots to the chest. He can handle a lot of shit, but he does have to regenerate. And the way he does that is he actually eats human beings. At one point in Jeepers Creepers 2, they shove a rod through his head, and you actually see it. He pulls it out, and what's a badass scene, he pulls out a huge chunk of his head and then eats another guy's head to regain it. You literally see him swallow. I've literally seen him eat another man's dick.
You actually saw him eat another man's dick?
Yeah, I was in international waters, so they couldn't prosecute. But he eats this dude's head, and you see his regular head go down into his stomach, come back up as the kid, and then turn back into him. He's also got flight, as you see when the wings finally come out, and he can fly super fucking fast. Like, you're not sure how active the wings actually are until Jeepers Creepers 2, when he picks up people. Well, I guess he did at the end of the first movie too, but he picks up people and is gone into the sky within seconds.
Everything you're describing, like, we've already went through superhuman strength, regeneration, smell, all that shit. Now flight. And there's other things. This is like when you unlock the abilities of your character in a video game. You're like, oh shit, he can do this too?
He's on God mode. He's also an engineer, because when you see what he does to his own truck from the first movie to the third one, you notice it. And it's terrible in the third movie a little bit, because it kind of becomes the Batmobile. Like, it literally will close with these gates when it's anyone else than him passing through them. Right. Also, it's got the truck literally has a harpoon built in it. It's way too much like the Batmobile, but he can do that. He souped up this old ass 1940s truck into this high-speed vehicle. He does taxidermy, Jay, as you see in his lair with his victims up top of it, and then he's a good knitter too. He can do some stitches.
He went to college.
Some stitch work. He's pretty immortal.
I think he is immortal.
He's basically immortal. He's got to be, right? I mean, he must fucking be, like, because he only gets to live for 23 days out of every 23 years.
I mean, it's never been tested as far as like how far you can. I mean,
no one's tried to
over and over and over again. Like, how long does it take? How much time do I have to spend stabbing you in the face before you die? He might be immortal. I think it's cool though that they didn't just come out and say it. It's kind of like the Michael Myers syndrome. You don't know.
He's for the most part, but I wonder if you put him in a room where he literally can't regenerate or eat, and you blew him up, you cut him up and shit like that, he probably would be killable. So technically, he's not immortal, but technically, vampires are, people say that they're immortal, but they're killable. So, I mean, yeah, he's immortal. He can climb vertically, as you see him do on the school bus when he's just like hanging there on the side of the school bus. He's like, ugh.
I think he just wanted to show that off.
He's like, I saw him look at YouTube, Darius. He does have in the third one, now a little bit in the second one. In the second one, he's more of just a good marksman with his throwing stars. But in the third one, he literally has telekinetic control of his weapons.
I think you're OPing it now. like he doesn't need anything else. Like, what the fuck else does he need? So
they show him throwing these knives and stuff in the third one. And in the second one, a little bit too, because remember when he finds the knife, it kind of leads them to him. Yeah. But you see him at one point, he kills the dude with the axe, and then he walks away, and the axe comes back to him like Thor. Yeah. So he has this sort of telekinetic control over at least his specific weapons, and he can make his car drive itself.
This is kind of like if you were, playing pretend with your friend, and they made up a character, and you're fighting each other in pretend land, and he's like, no, I just stabbed you, man. It's like, yeah, but I had a telekinetic throwing star that came around and hit you in the back of the head.
I'm not dead.
What are you talking about?
I'm not dead. So those are his abilities, which is fucking out there and crazy. He's got a lot of... And personally, for me, I enjoy his abilities in the first two movies more than the third one. I think they overdid it a little bit, very much, a lot in that one. But as far as his weapons go, the Creepmobile is his main weapon, at least in the third one. It's not even featured, I don't believe, in the second movie.
In the third movie, yeah.
Yeah, in the third movie, it's way too much. In the first movie, it's cool. It's just kind of creepy. It's this vehicle. The only thing really super bad is that it's souped up and really fast with a bee eating you.
I guess he has telekinetic control over his van too.
Yeah, because in the third one, at one point he steals it off the back of the tow truck.
Maybe it's like Bumblebee. Maybe it's alive.
It's stupid. I don't like that at all. But it literally does drive itself away as he's standing on top of it, like Jason does, and Jason lives.
We are here.
He carries these throwing stars that he literally makes out of his victims. The first one you see is in Jeepers Creepers 2 when he pops the tire of the school bus, which has got to be hard to do. Yeah. It's got to be. I mean, those are thick tires.
Well, I only did it once.
But at first he pops it with a throwing star with this like adamantium looking shit on it, and it's got a tooth in the center of it.
Mike, come on, be serious. We're talking about real life here. Adamantium.
I always say adamantium. I don't know why.
I know it was a joke because it's not real life.
Weapon X. But that's a crossover right there. When we get really desperate for superhero movies, Wolverine versus Jeepers. Actually, they're very alike. You got what looks like adamantium on the throwing stars and regenerative abilities.
True.
Oh my God, that's Jason Bourne.
We'll see what happens.
But literally, one of them he makes out of the belly button of Derry from the first film, because you can see
it's an ugly tattoo.
Yeah,
he deserved it.
Like, who gets a rose tattoo on your belly button?
I mean,
like, what
people
the
that
hell?
love fucking Guns N' Roses.
He seemed like a cool character, but I saw that and I was like, I'm just not sure anymore.
God damn.
So, but yeah, you can see on the throwing star here the rose tattoo from his belly button. Like, who makes a throwing star out of a fucking belly button?
People that are badass.
Oh my God. And then you have his QVC knife collection, which you can get
the
for
QVC
$19.99.
knife collection that can cut through any cheese or butter, no matter what goes down in your life. Hey, you got some unblockable freezer problems? The fucking QVC knife from the Jeepers Creepers can do that. Clink, clink, clink.
Order now and you get a free year's supply of Weight Watchers pot roasts.
I can't believe you're talking truth right now, Jim.
And then you've got his axe thingy that he uses. But it's cool the way you see it. Like, he's like dragging it along in the third one. He mainly uses it in the third one. It's pretty. I don't know. It's pretty cool the way he uses it. But
I got this at a flea market.
It's basically Molinar. It's yeah. Thor's hammer the way he uses it. But, yeah, it does look like he got it at a flea market yeah. From one of those sketchy backdoor. And then finally, in the third one as well, he uses spears, which are pretty much... I mean, he's basically Bullseye from Daredevil in this movie.
Yeah.
He can hit anyone at any distance.
This is the way that I look, the way that he's holding the spear when anybody's sitting right next to me eating popcorn loudly.
Some other weird facts about the Creeper are that he's followed around strangely by ravens and crows throughout all 3 movies. At one point when he screams, they fall dead from the sky. It's just kind of a strange thing. They never really explain it. That or his affiliation, his obsession with, he likes to pretend that he's a scarecrow. It's what he does.
Well, I don't think it's because he likes to pretend that he's a scarecrow, because, I mean, I understand everybody wants to pretend that they're a scarecrow one day, but I think it's because it's in the environment that he's in. He just adapts to whatever it is. So in this particular environment, scarecrows are a big thing, so by pretending to be a scarecrow, you can lure victims in. He just goes to, like, remote little farmhouses and gets what he wants.
I don't know, man. Why was he playing with Ray Wise's post puncher in the second one? Like,
What?
he was literally like playing around with his post puncher. Like, he's I don't know. He does it
Well, he
several
had never
times.
seen one before, from Lowe's, brand new.
It's just something he enjoys to do. He's like, oh, good, a scarecrow.
Well, I don't think, but honestly, in that scene, he was specifically doing it because he was trying to lure that kid in.
Right, but he does do it multiple times in the series. It's just strange.
Because most people will be like, I'm going to overlook a scarecrow.
You know, everybody has their things that they get them through the week, you know? And he likes to, at least 1 out of every 23 days, he promises himself, no, this year I'm going to the golf course. I'm getting on a scarecrow.
And then he gets on
and I'm at least going to give myself like a few hours on the perch.
If I only had a brain.
He never hunts in the same place more than
Smart.
one day. You don't shit where you eat, you know what I'm saying?
Never do it.
He does love to sniff those panties.
He is.
Wow. He loves it. She's like, hey, is that your Pontiac out there? And they go out and
He was smelling your underwear.
all their clothes are splattered out everywhere. And she was like, yeah, he was sniffing them. Looked like he liked it too.
Well, you shouldn't have used fucking Tide.
And then a few scenes later, you actually get the scene, probably the most badass kill from the franchise, where he rips off the cop's head.
Well,
and
I do wonder, though, he was smelling that shit. What if you had just not bathed in like 4 days?
And what if you had some skid marks?
Is it like, yeah. It'd be all duty crust marks in there, and he'd be like, damn.
Crustacean without representation.
He would leave you a note all hand scrolled in Egyptian to wipe your ass.
He likes it. But yeah, no, and it was going along with the sniffing was the best kill in the franchise. When he rips off that cop's head and he sniffs him, he like licks him, and then he bites his tongue and rips it out. He makes out with him first for a second, and then you're like, what? That was one of those holy shit moments in horror that I'll never forget, because you haven't fully seen him yet. He hasn't fully been revealed to you, and yet you see his fucking white hair hanging out of the back like he's a Slayer fan.
Give me some sugar.
He goes up and starts making out with his decapitated head. It was fucked up and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
But he does like to whistle. He likes to walk around and he likes to whistle the Jeepers Creepers thing, but he never speaks, except for in one deleted scene from one of the films where he speaks in like a South African language, and he says something like, she don't smell too good.
I would rather him just not talk at all, and I like that they kept that out.
And he likes music too. If you go down to his lair, which he likes to call his House of Pain.
That's just, you know what, you mentioned Slayer, that's his fucking tribute to Slayer. He's like, come to my House of Pain and see everything. Guys, I think we've all been lied to. I think that originally that he wrote the Mudvayne song Not Falling in that little fucking basement. He was like, I say.
But in Jeepers Creepers 2 is where you get a little bit of backstory for that original church that you saw him throwing the bodies down the pipe for. They say on the radio, they say that they found over 300 bodies down there. Some of them were over they had wooden teeth, so they knew that the bodies were over 200 years old. So basically,
walking around with wooden teeth.
He
like
ate
splinters.
George Washington.
Yeah, fucking. You should have chopped down that fucking cherry tree, bitch.
But yeah, so he goes back in that scene to actually burn down this church, so that because he knew Derry told on him, so he wanted to get rid of the evidence. I don't know why he gives a shit.
Well, he burned down the church because he became Catholic.
Oh well, no,
it's Episcopalian.
He's been into black Swedish metal lately, so he was just trying to be part of the club.
I want my dad to notice me.
Mayhem. So, but what's fun fact about that church actually burnt down in real life as well. So, is it true, Jim? He's never truly been killed by anyone. And this into the second film, Ray Wise fucks him up real good. He harpoons his ass a couple times. He stabs him like 362 times.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's not dead. He's like, he's just at the end of his cycle, and he's like, looks dead to me. And then he hangs him up in the barn. And what's the coolest part about that is he hangs him up in the barn, and him and his son are charging $5 a pop for people to come look at the monster.
Well, I like that whole scene though when he's sitting there and he's older and he's been waiting for him to regenerate and come back, and he's gonna fuck him up again, because it reminded me of something out of like Pumpkinhead. You know, it's just kind of that old country folk thing, and he's like, I don't give a goddamn if y'all believe me or not, and that motherfucker can eat pigs in a blanket off my asshole. I'm gonna kill him when he comes back.
Ooh, Denny's. You see the creeper there on the wall with a sign above him that says "Bat out of Hell," which to me is really interesting because it's kind of like
comes in and sings.
I would do anything for. But that's a perfect explanation of him too, because the wings and shit like that. If the bat came out of hell, you would imagine it would look like the creeper. So yeah, guys, that is the story of the Creeper. You've got his weapons, you've got his abilities, you've got his home. You don't really know his origin, but it'd be so great if they could just take Victor Salva's sick fucking ass off this franchise and let us enjoy it for what it is. Give it to someone else. I know it was his creation, but you know what? Fuck it.
Talking about the character itself, the character is unique and cool and different, and it's one of those few characters that came out, in my mind, in the recent years that has a strong charge to be a part of the upper echelon of horror icons. I hope they never do an origin like Creeper story. Like the Creeper was cursed 2,000 years ago when he tried to fuck Aphrodite.
No, dude, he just grew up in a trailer park like Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
There you go. And then he made a deal with a dog and
Judith, we're gonna be late.
Yeah, sucked a popsicle.
Michelle Mabel.
Don't want to have it.
So that's the question of the day, guys. Do you consider the Creeper more of a monster or a slasher?
Both.
It's a tough one. I do too, but which one do you got? Pick one, man.
No,
Come on.
You can't do it, man.
Come on now. Hey, ha. Hey, ha. Hey, ha.
Get up on it.
Yeah, comment down below. So comment down below with your all's thoughts. What horror profile would you like to see us do next? We love your fucking faces. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham opinion.
Don't you ever go too far away from us because we'll smell the shit out of you. Brute.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah. You know what? We did a review. We watched a movie.